This is the facelifted Jaguar XE. What's changed and how does the Giulia A4, 3 Series and C Class rival compare to the competition?
The Jaguar XE debuted in 2015 and it was supposed to conquer the compact executive saloon market, offering good performance and engaging handling. Back then I reviewed the 240 horsepower rear-wheel drive petrol model in R-Dynamic spec. It was okay except for the steering, which, at least in the test car, was too slow for the car's potential.
And this is what I'm interested in the most. Has Jaguar improved the steering?
Before I answer that, a few words about the changes. Obviously, there are some slight visual alterations. The air inlets are now larger, which makes the car seem lower and wider. Apparently, it's also supposed to look more like the F-Type sports coupe. New headlights are now LEDs with J-shaped day running lights. In the back, there is also a new bumper, new LED lights with new graphics, and all this is supposed to say, "I've got a wide backside." This is the R-Dynamic trim with something called the Black Styling Pack. Not only is the styling pack cheap, but it also looks cheap. The R-Dynamic is dynamic enough for a saloon, and these plastic bits are... even I know they are in poor taste.
There are also changes on the inside, and this is where it gets funny because, get this, Jaguar communicates replacing the rotary gear selector with a traditional gear lever, but it's not just any gear lever, it's an F-Type inspired gear lever, which looks like in any other JLR product. Get it? A dozen or so years ago, someone came up with the idea of the rotary gear selector, which would come up as the car starts, and it looked cool. However, after they implemented it in a dozen cars or so, they realized the clients don't like it or found it confusing, whatever. So JLR is now going back to the regular gear lever and says it's more sporty like that. And the punchline here is that a rotary gear selector now also is used in the new Ford Focus Automatic, and they probably designed it back in the day when Ford still owned Jaguar. Oh, this is going to be funny.
Jaguar says storage is now also better, there is wireless charging, one of the iterations of the new infotainment system with 2 screens. Here the top screen doesn't tilt though, like it does in the Range Rover Evoque. This knob on the steering column is not a backup ignition switch, but the manual steering wheel adjustment lock. Yes, it took me a while to figure that one out too, but then I watched my original XE review, which you can also do by clicking the link in the upper right corner of the screen or in the description below, and I realized this is where Jag plays the electric steering wheel adjustment switch. It looks strange, but it's actually a lot more convenient than diving under the steering wheel to find it. Changes under the bonnet are that there is no more a 3-liter V6. There are only 2-liter engines, a 185 horsepower diesel, and petrols, 250 and 300 horsepower. Regardless of the engine version, all cars get an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Rear-wheel drive is standard, and depending on the market, all-wheel drive is available as an option for all or some engine variants. This test car is a P250. Jaguar promises around 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers combined according to WLTP standard. Realistically, I'd prepare myself for 11 liters or more. With a 65-liter tank, this should give you a range of about 600 kilometers, but the onboard computer shows much less.
As far as dynamics and ride were concerned, in my opinion the Jaguar was fine. However, the pre-facelift test car had slow steering, too slow for the playful rear end. Of course, the traction control intervened, but the driver's natural reaction is to try and correct any oversteer, but the steering was too slow, so there was constant traction control intervention. Jaguar doesn't say if it changed anything in the steering. It only says it's an electrically assisted variable ratio power steering. Perhaps Jaguar reprogrammed something, because now, in my opinion, the steering is just much better, much quicker, much more responsive, regardless of the driving mode you're in. This is what the pre-facelift car was missing. The engine is quick to react to the gas pedal, and the backside still wants to play. The rear-wheel drive XE is a driver's car, and you don't need 300 horsepower to have fun. Compared to the 330i, the Jaguar XE is a better driver's car. That's it. If driving is your thing, you don't have to look any further. The question is whether the Jaguar is the best car if you want something more than just light your rear tires in the corners. Handling is comparable with Alfa Romeo Giulia, I would say. However, in my opinion, the Jug has better suspension. It's just more comfortable in everyday use. However, as far as driver aids are concerned, you can't go wrong with Audi A4 and BMW 3 Series.
The interior is simple and elegant, but I think Audi and BMW have posher interiors. Mercedes-Benz C Class W205 is slightly older than the XE. It had a facelift as well, but its interior remains outdated compared to newer Mercedes models.
Because of how the car is designed, the rear visibility is, well, it is and it was a problem. In the rearview mirror, I can mainly see roofs of the cars behind me, which is good at night because they don't blind me. However, on a bright sunny day, or if a car is a bit lower, this may be a problem.
This is where the €600 clear side mirror comes into play. Instead of the reflection, you can see a view from a camera mounted on the roof antenna. You can see much more. There is no problem with the small back window, C-pillars, or tall passengers in the back. However, there is a problem with eye accommodation. Focusing back and forth between the 2D camera view and what's in front of the car may take some time. Speaking of passengers in the back, adults won't be happy here. There's little legroom, little footroom, little headroom, and there's a wide tunnel running through the middle. The backrest splits 40-20-40, a €430 option, but you can only fold the middle part from the passenger compartment side. Everything else you have to fold from the boot. Well, sort of, because you pull on the handle, and then you go to the rear doors, and then you pull the backrest. Sure, I can use whatever long item I want to carry to push the backrests open, but in some cars I don't have to, because they are spring-loaded. Also, your kid can pull the lever and you won't notice until you brake and the backrest folds. Whatever. The boot has 410 liters volume, and that's with whatever fits under the floor. Even Audi A3 limousine has a larger boot, and definitely nicer finish inside. Prices of the Jaguar XE start at €43,690 for a rear-wheel drive diesel. This 250 horsepower rear-wheel drive petrol R-Dynamic SE costs $50,000, plus some modest options bring the price up to about $57,000.
The facelifted Jaguar XE is better than the original car. In modest spec, it can easily compete with Audi or BMW. Mercedes and Alfa, they're out. However, the more options you tick, the more Jaguar starts falling behind its rivals, even if it handles great. And how do you like the refreshed Jaguar XE? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe for more of my sarcastic, down-to-earth and possibly mildly amusing reviews. Don't forget to like and share this video, and hit the notification bell to be reminded about new uploads. I post every Friday. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.